physics, math, and engineering. Machine it, draft it, build it, test it, break it. Every time something new gets built, the entire world advances. Laying in bed at night, it's designing new parts, designing new suspension, designing new wings.
I'm so close. I just put some degreaser on. I gotta wipe it down, but you can see this is all carbon. It's gonna need virtually no body work at all. We're gonna put on just a heavy primer, and I think that will be all I need to do is a heavy primer, sand it down, and I really don't think I'm gonna have any filler at all at this point. So I'm really happy with how this has turned out. I'm gonna quickly wipe this off several times so I don't get any dust coming through. We'll just keep layer and layer till it comes off completely clean. Put some, can't talk, primer, sand it, paint it. Let's get to work. All right, guys, I'm super excited. There's so many of you had interest in my little spar sample test, so I want to give you a quick update. I really had just made this set and thought I'm gonna just cut up 10 or 20, maybe a couple dozen tops of people that might have interest. And you guys blew my mind. I mean, hundreds of you bought these sets. So I want to give you an update. There were none built. There were nothing to ship right away, but I am working on them. I actually am super excited because I have my kids working on them. So my son's cutting them up and the kids are helping deburr them and sand them and get them ready. So we are working on them, but so many of you ordered that I decided to go ahead and order some more spars of the different sizes. The set is a full 3 set of Scrappy spar, Scrappy's rear spar, carbon cub, standard cub rear spar, but I wanted the whole set to go out and I didn't have enough to do that for as many of you that ordered. So anyway, I ordered more, they're on the way. I'm gonna start shipping them right away. I'm gonna ship them in the order I get them made as fast as we can. And when I run out of the parts that can finish out what I have, as soon as they show up, just be patient. Like pretend you didn't order them or something. Whenever they're done, I will ship them, I promise. I'll maybe throw in some other stuff, maybe some Draco stickers and little kids temporary tattoos. I don't know, I'll do something. I'll throw in some extra stuff for it. I went ahead and made up a little postcard of Scrappy. I put all the stats of all the testing, both SolidWorks analysis and the actual testing differences, and I'll throw that in the little kit. So, thank you guys, is what I'm trying to say. And thank you for being patient, because some of you are gonna get them immediately, and some of you, it might be a while, because some of the aluminum places are saying they might not even ship for a couple of months. No problem if you wanna send an email and you don't need them, happy to send the money back. But if some of you didn't see it and wanna buy them, I'm gonna make enough and just tell me, get on my page, order them up so I can get a final count. Anyway, also, I just got back from Sun and Fun, and oh my gosh, you guys are so awesome. I met hundreds of people there, if not thousands, and so many of you made your own t-shirts, Scrappy t-shirts, back to work, Draco. I couldn't believe meeting all of you. It was just an absolute blast, and it worked so good. Because I get messages in various ways. I get emails to 4 different companies of people reaching out, Messenger and Facebook and on YouTube. And I literally receive thousands of messages and I try my best to read them, and it's physically impossible. I tried something one day. I said, I'm gonna try and catch up on at least 2,000 messages I was behind. And I tried replying to all of them. What happened is I got about 200 in, and about 195 of you replied, which meant that I started going backwards, and a lot of them had 4 more questions, and so my 200 goal went to 800 more messages to read. Guys, here's what I want you to do. Please keep sending me messages. I will do my best to read them, but my apologies. I know some of you have written 5, 10, 15 pages and more. I can't physically keep up, but I will continue to try. But if you come to an air show, that's when I'm setting aside work, I'm setting aside everything else, and I just want to visit. Reach out at an air show, come up and say hi. In the meantime, I'm going to read all I can. Thank you all for watching. Thank you for those of you who ordered these. My kids are going to be super busy, so they already know how to work. Let's make them work. Thanks again. You guys know the drill. I'm gonna get back to work. I'm super excited to finally be done. This is the air intakes. The rubber boots are on. They're tied to the front cowling. It's 3 parts. The air filter goes in here, but I'm gonna go ahead and attach these 2 pieces. Come apart at the middle, put a little bead of RTV around the joint so it literally will be airtight. And then this part, if I need to work on the engine, comes off independently, and these will stay on until the point if I need to do an overhaul, pop that little light bead of RTV that connects it to the engine and pull them right back off. This comes off. That's where my oil fill with my oil funnel is built in. So let's get it installed. Super excited. It's going on for the last time. Back to work. Hey guys, I need your help. If any of you are artistic, stick around till the end of the video after the end credits if you want to do something with me, and I'll give away some prizes, $1,000 in cash, a few other things. Back to work. Okay guys, I'm gonna quickly answer a couple questions some of you had. The air filter going into Scrappy, some were worried it might not be big enough. And most of the people that asked that question is coming from an automotive side. Simply, 780 cubic inches on an aircraft only flows the volume of about 350 cubic inches on an automobile. The difference is 6,000 to 7,000 RPM on a race engine in an automobile. In an aircraft, I'm running 2,700. So I'm running half the air volume you would expect. Add on top of that, then in an aircraft, you get the benefit of always flying around. We actually make ram air pressure just from flying. So you size an air filter, not like a car, you size it as aircraft would, and there is a big adjustment for that. So I do know that this air filter works on this engine. This is what I use to set some world records, 3 closed course world records in my race plane I pulled it out of. It's also run at Reno, and I did 4 measuring devices to measure the air. Ram air pressure inside the upper deck pressure plenum, air right before the air filter, air right behind the air filter to measure the delta between the air passing through and how much pressure I lost right there, and the creating a vacuum, and then also right inside the primary air box and the traditional one that's right at the intake of the engine itself that displays on the engine. So I have a box that measures all those locations, so I always check that, do a mass airflow check. The next question I had is, do you have a drain for water? So, for a lot of you worried, what happens if you fly into rain? Well, it's amazing. Aircraft engines, they fly into rain all the time, and what has happened? The water actually just flows in, goes through the air filter, and the engine just eats it up. And that sounds a little crazy, but we aren't taking a garden hose and putting it in. It's only taking in what the max rain can allow. But as an added backup for safety of if I was washing the plane, or if I went into extra heavy rain, I go a little bit beyond, and I always put a drain in the bottom trap that I created inside the intake of the filter, and there is a drain, and it drains out the bottom of the plane. And since it's on the upper deck, high pressure side of the filter, if water does go in there in flight, I have air created pressure pushing, and it just will spit the water back out at high velocities. I do like to have a secondary way to push the water out, but a lot of aircraft, if you fly in the rain, the filter is literally right on the front of the airplane, and that rain just goes through it. And if you're a race guy, you understand why that doesn't hurt it, because in racing, if you want to cool your engine down, you inject water into it. You literally inject water. The next thing I had people ask about is, what about an alternate air source? That is absolutely going in. This is the start of it. This is so that where the air comes through the filter, right now I've got it just piped into the engine to do some airflow testing and ground checks. But that bend is coming out, and there'll be a sweep carbon bend with a bypass secondary carbon tube, this one, that will go to a spring-loaded door. That spring will be sized so that at full power under all conditions, it stays shut and all the air is coming through the filter. However, if the filter were to clog up with dirt, or that's unlikely, it means I wasn't doing a good job at maintenance, but that could happen. Or the more likely scenario, which hopefully will never happen with Scrappy, I'm not building an ice-capable aircraft, but if you inadvertently flew into ice and you had ice and snow crest up and clog the filter, You need to have an alternate air source, so that will come through this tube on a bypass out the right side of the engine with a spring gate. And the only time it will ever open is as the filter starts to clog. If it starts to clog, the engine will create a vacuum and start to open the spring rate door only when it has to, so it can keep pulling as much air through the filter as possible. That air, for those of you who are wondering, is coming from the low pressure side of the engine, which is below the cylinders after the air has gone through the cylinders to cool them. Now the air is now a little bit warmer, and it comes from under the engine on the low pressure deck side. That's my alternate air source. Thanks for asking the questions. We'll get it done later. You guys know the drill. Back to work. Okay guys, we're getting closer. I just put this on and finished the last final little bit of sanding. We got lucky on this one. It turned out really good. I'm super excited about it. It's unbelievably lightweight. It feels light enough, or lighter, in just the way feeling such a big cowling, like it came out of a mold completely. We're having a cowling that was 20 or 30 molds and pieces put together and then sand it all out, and we sanded out all the joints and the overlaps, and then we bagged layers over top of it to suck it up and get the thickness. It's dang near a cowling right out of a mold, so I'm really proud of it. Super excited to get it done. It's crazy amount of work to get to this. I don't recommend it. Kind of sucks, but in the end of the day, it's worth it. I'm really happy. I'm gonna do a white base, and then we'll put some silver on it, a couple logos on it. You guys know the drill. All right, guys, I'm getting ready to put the final touches on Scrappy. We've already test run it, drove it all over the airport, and I've got all the lines ran and already done, obviously, oil lines, gas lines. However, I always like to do it one time with just some cheap, quick, easy hoses made from a local House of Hose specialty style shop, but it's not what I really want to run ultimately on the aircraft long term. But so many times I'll do it and then I want to change the length a ½ inch or a ¼ inch. So I like to run it one way, and then when the whole plane's done, ready to cowl up, I go back through and look, hey, can I save 2 inches of line here and save some weight? So I called up Aircraft Specialty, and they make custom aviation lines. So here's some oil lines I'm changing out. These are fuel lines. They're fire sleeved and protected and have an abrasion resistant edge. So, and then these are super cool. These are brake lines. You can see right down here, I had to use a couple different fittings, but if you look right here, they're able to do adaptation where I actually have one size fitting on this size of the hose and a different size on this one. They can adapt it in my hose itself and save me several ounces per line. So I'm gonna get these installed on my brakes. The other line's hooked up. We'll tidy this up and then we'll throw the cowling on. All right, guys. So I wanted to talk a little bit about this part. This is simply NACA. It goes on the bottom of the cowling right there. And you can see when I built this, I made 2 inlets. The purpose of that is oftentimes one of the problems with heating and cooling is that they pull NACAs from different locations, or they have 2 NACAs, and even if one's right next to the other, the air, the way it's coming around the fuselage off the prop, puts more air in one NACA than another. So it still works, but doing 2 holes through a single NACA for your heat and your air allows those 2 lines. One will pass through all the heat systems in the exhaust. The other line goes to the fresh air. But what's critical is when they come together in my mixing valve, where I can adjust hot and cold, the pressure, because they're coming in the same location, is equal. And if you have equal pressure, then the dial that goes from hot to cold adjustment is very linear and flat. Sometimes a lot of people will do 2 different NACAs, and sometimes in 2 different locations or on the same location, opposite sides of the fuselage, but because the air swirls one direction off the prop, you might have to turn the dial all the way to hot, and if you barely move it, it goes ice cold, because one NACA has so much power. When the 2 blend, it sends the pressure back the other way. I put this on the belly because the bottom of the cowling is tipped up like that, so the air goes straight into it and gets the maximum blast. So that's the bottom. And I want to introduce another helper working. We got Ron over there tinkering away. This is my oldest son, Dylan. Put a big. He just got a tattoo right here, and I just smacked it. And I didn't remember. Ow. This is my oldest son, Dylan. He has been helping out recently, sanding on all kinds of parts. He's really good at doing fine line, tape lines for paint. It's been awesome having him tinker away over here, but my oldest is now helping me out. He's working here full time. So if you thought we got a lot done before, I got another payday on the job. Back to work. All right, we're down to the last of the paint. So put a clear coat over the metallic silver, put on my stencil for the black. So I've got black going on my Lycoming right here. One more layer of black on my grills and my intake vents for the hot and cold air. So I'll spray the tube black, strip the plastic off, and then clear everything at once, including the top cowling, which is out there ready to come in. I'm leaving it out because it doesn't have any black on it. But as soon as I get that sprayed, I'll bring it in, pull it off, clear it. We'll finally be done with paint on Scrappy, other than paint on Wing. But the plane will be done. Back to work. Closer. The cowling is finally painted, so I'm super excited to get to this phase. Now we're going to start attaching the lights. This should be a dang near snap fit, and it is. So we're going to stick in this light, this light, this light. We're just drilling out right now all the holes for the nut plates, and you can see this will go right there. The air vent NACAs will go here, and another grill over there. Okay guys, what I'm doing now, got two done, one to go, masked off an area. Now the lights are bonded in just with silicone, and they're pressed into a double step, so they'd never come out as it is, but as an added precaution, I could put glued down embeds with little bolts and washers to hold it. This is a little cleaner, I like this better. This is a polyurethane windshield adhesive. You gotta have a special gun to push it out. It's really strong. The downside to using this as my connection is if I needed to replace the light, it's gonna take me probably a half hour to get it out. The good side to it is there won't be any vibration whatsoever. It's completely watertight, and it's never gonna move. The other nice thing about using a polyurethane bond-in like this, especially where I've got the front so flush set and completely sealed, is that I won't get that vibration chafing that creates that black powdery dust around the light lenses that always just looks dirty. So this is absolutely permanent. I would never do this with a light that isn't LED. These are all LED, they'll probably outlive me. So this is something I feel very comfortable with, but if I did need to replace it, a little bit of screwdriver work on the back, pull all the polyurethane off, pop it out from the front, just breaking that silicone seal. I'd have to just clean it all up and then rebond it back in. It really would be a half hour, maybe 45-minute project, but this as it is completely permanent. Back to work. All right guys, it's officially time to cowl up Scrappy for the first time, fully painted, put the grills on it. I'm super excited. And look how cute Scrappy looks, really low to the ground. This is my how to get in a Cub easy way. It's 20 inches lowered We just dropped the suspension down so we could cowl it up, which has been nice to work on. I put it way up high to work underneath it, drop it down low to work on the top, but Ron, are you ready?
Yes. I've been waiting for 2 months.
Let's cowl it up and hot rod it around the airport for a minute, make sure everything's good. Back to work.
Yes.
It's a good day.
I'm gonna put some wings on this bad boy.
All right, for those of you who stuck around clear till after the credits, thank you for watching and following along. I'm actually trying to enlist some support and help from my design creative friends out there. So here's what I need. I'm trying to get some more shirts, hats, gear out of the request of many people asking. I really haven't done much with it. So what I'd like to do is enlist your help to try and come up with fun ways to get scrappy new clothes, and for other people who might want gear, submit any ideas you have, drawings, artwork, to design@mikepatey.com. Send it as a PDF file so that we can use it. But here's what I want to do. I want you to send in any ideas you have, any artwork you can come up with. You can grab the artwork off my website of current stuff I have. I'll put everything out there. Grab it, use it. Anything you can find online, go for it. Twist it, manipulate it. I really want your creative ideas in it. So I'm trying to come up with these shirts and hats, and if you can come up with the ideas and I end up picking them and putting them on my website, and I'll try and pick a bunch of them, If they go on my website, I'll pay you $100 for every idea I use. So I don't care how many times you enter, take it all. It'd be great to have your ideas. Also, I'm gonna make it so you can make a bit more than that. I'm gonna have all the ideas, when I get enough of them collected, I'll put them on one of these YouTube videos, show it all off, tell people to go to my page, check it out, and that way we can let all of you decide what gear you like the best, and whatever sells the most, I'm gonna send $1,000 to the first place, $500 to the second, $250 to the third, and a bunch of other little gifts for people who helped out along the way. And if it's the same person wins it all, I love you, because you're helping me out. I'm too busy building planes to do gear. So help Scrappy get a new uniform, and I appreciate you guys. I love you all. You guys know the drill. I need to get back to work.